What is the importance of leadership for you?
Everybody wins when a leader gets better.
It comes down to accountability, right? So somebody keeping you accountable.
I get to help people every day with their claims. So it's not that I have to, it's not that I must do it.
Yeah.
It's I get to. Leadership shouldn't be endured, it should be enjoyed.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bizzin Podcast. The last one today with CJ Smit. Guys, just quickly, the Bizzin Podcast is all about you as an entrepreneur. It's a business intelligence platform. So please go and follow and like our social media platforms. Part of this is just focusing on leadership as well, of you becoming a better entrepreneur. That is what the app is all about. So when I created this, and this app, it was mainly coming out of an accounting industry with our practice and seeing where the lack is with small business owners. They have such great ideas, but there's just certain aspects in life that they struggle with, like budgeting or, not reading enough books or not getting that concept right, not putting their goals on paper. And I feel a lot of that comes down to leadership, right? And so we met in the beginning, it was after a Global Leadership Summit. And after I watched a couple of those videos and I attended that day actually as well, it's just people pouring into somebody else. And I think essentially for us as business owners, you become a leader in an aspect, right? So to put it in a nutshell, what is the importance of leadership for you?
I think they capture it quite well with the Global Leadership Summit, where they say everybody wins when a leader gets better. And you can take that into your accounting practice, into your family. Any place where you go, if you can stand up as a leader, there's going to be a ripple effect that happens out of that. So I'm a firm believer that anybody can be a leader. I think for a lot of time there was now only certain people are leaders and certain people are equipped to be that. But it comes with consistency, it comes with discipline. And I think if you have those two things pinned down, then the rest is easy. Because you are going to be in a place where you can add value to somebody's life.
Yeah. So do you believe that it's possible to be a leader in only certain aspects of life? So, for instance, can you be a leader at work, but then not a leader at your house, not a leader for your wife, for your children, in the church? Is it possible to split that and to say, I'm a good leader when I'm at work, but all of the other aspects in my life, I'm not a good leader?
I would say that's quite sad.
Yeah.
That's quite sad. If you are the best leader at work, but you don't carry that over to your home, I think that's quite horrible. And you see that actually in there's a study that friends of mine did where they went into Africa. And they did this study on leadership in organizations in Africa. And the one thing that came out was the best leaders was the women. And which is actually quite weird because in the African culture, the men is like the chief and all of that.
Yeah.
So they're the leaders for their tribe. But the women and the children walk to the well, to the river. And in that place, that's where the leadership exchanged. Because there was time that they spent with one another where they said, hey, don't look at this, look at that. Don't step there. This is what's going to happen there. And that's actually where the leadership got transferred. That's where leadership transfer happens, is in that walk with people. And I think if you have a good, balanced life, then there is going to be times at work, but there's a lot of times that you're at home with your kids, with your family. And to only keep your leadership at work is actually sad because you have to train the next world shaker at home as well.
Definitely. So why leadership is important for the growth of businesses and for communities, right? So, and I think that's why you're touching, why it is important for you to lead in different aspects. Because if you are a great leader in the business community, I think people look at you as a leader. And I think it's important for them to then see, but yes, this man is a great leader for his family. And I think that's important to touch on that. And because it's a platform that's being created. So if you are a great leader in business, if you are a great leader in your church community or in your friends or in your family, it needs to really infiltrate every other aspect of life as well. Because we can't just be leaders in one aspect of our life. I believe, well, that's my personal opinion, is that we need to be leaders in life, making an impact in every single aspect that we touch on. So,
And I totally agree. I just
yeah,
want to mention that I think, unfortunately, I think as people we are a bit lazy
yeah,
because it's a big commitment to be a leader and to drive leadership where you are at. And I think it's so much easier to sit back and say, okay, somebody else do
yes,
it. I'm going to sit back and I'm just going to follow. So it's just to get people to understand that everybody can be a leader.
yeah,
Anybody can stand up. Your voice actually matters, and that's when the best ideas come from. Is when people sit around the table and everybody's voice is heard,
yeah,
and that's leadership. That's when people
definitely.
work together. They walk a road together, and in that they grow together.
Yeah. So what do you think is the why is there a lack of leaders?
In terms of,
Well, I think there's if we look at where we are as a country and where we are in the world situation as well, um, and I want to look at this from a Christian perspective almost. It's like, why do you feel that this world is on such a broken aspect if we have the potential of raising so many leaders?
I would say, self gain. I think at some point leadership started to be monetized, and the moment that you start monetizing it, you don't want to share it.
Yeah.
So I think
Sure.
that's definitely a big reason in that. And I think the other thing is there's so much noise out there.
Yeah.
You've got Reels and you've got Facebook and Instagram and you've got work and you've got all this noise everywhere.
Yes.
And you don't have people that you can just listen to. Who can guide you through seasons in your life, and I touch on with the advisor side that we spoke about earlier
Yeah.
as well, to get people around you that can actually pour into you
Yes.
and to listen to them, to almost silence all the noise out there. Because I mean, if you go onto YouTube now, you find 1 billion different topics on leaderships,
Yeah.
top people that's speaking about that, but who of that is the ones that you need to listen to?
Exactly.
And that's why you need a platform that you can trust, like a Bizzin, or you need people that can speak into your life where it's almost been vetted and you
Yes.
can understand, okay, this is the fruit that I see. And that's why I like the GLS as well, the Global Leadership Summit, because there's good, solid content
Yes.
that's coming from there that you can present again and you can make people part of that.
Yeah. So I want to touch on how you got to host a GLS here in George, but just quickly on a leadership thing, it comes down to accountability, right? So somebody keeping you accountable. And I think that's where you say it's about building the trust with somebody, because you, like, who must you listen out of that billion people that has their
Exactly.
perspective on leadership? Who must you listen to? And then it gets down to a point where we say, okay, but you need to have a mentor. So how important do you think it is for a business leader that has already an established environment where they feel they are a leader to still have somebody that's pouring into their life?
I think it's crucial. I mean, I've had, or let me rather state it like that, I've never had a mentor until the last, I would say, 2-3 months ago.
Wow.
And I mean, it was always, why can't I get a mentor? Why can't people come to, and I
Yeah.
was always like this victim mindset of, okay, why isn't there an older guy looking over me and telling me, okay, go left, go right, look, do
Yeah.
this. And at some point I realized, you actually have to take action and you have to ask somebody, because if I think about it now, it's actually so weird. Why would you just go up to somebody random and say, hey, I want to speak into your life?
Yeah.
But the moment somebody reaches out to you, then you can say, okay, let's start this process. Let's see
Exactly. Yeah.
how I can help you. If I can help you, how
Yeah.
can I add value in that? So I do believe there's a lot of merit having older person that's walked the walk, that can look back and tell you, okay, don't make the same mistakes that I did.
Yes.
Look at these, get different perspectives in that, because sometimes when you are in the trenches, you're busy. It's almost like war.
Yeah.
You're just dodging for all the bullets, and HR policies and everything
Yeah,
that's,
no, definitely.
that's around you, then
Yeah.
it's so crucial having somebody looking over you. And it reminds me of that story of Joshua that's in the valley and he's fighting, and Moses is on the hill. And as long as Moses' arms are held up,
Yes.
then Joshua's winning. But I mean, Moses is on the hill and Joshua is looking up to him. And you can see, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do now.
Yeah.
And I think that's the idea of a mentor, is when you are still in the battlefield, you are going guns blazing, giving your best, trying to impact the world, then there is people that can look at you, give you perspective, and to almost keep you humble in a certain
Yes.
sense.
Definitely. And I think, and that's an important aspect, because there's a difference between I must and I want to. So
And then there's another one, I get to.
yeah.
And I think that's the one
Yeah.
that's the language that you want to get into
Yes.
a company or your home. It's not you must do the dishes
Yes.
or you have to do the dishes.
Yeah.
You get to, because you're part of this family.
100%.
And I think that's what we want to get in your employees as well, to start getting that language. Is for me in the financial industry, I get to help people every day with their
Yes.
claims. And so it's not that I have to, it's not that I must do it.
Yeah.
It's I get to.
Definitely. And because I spoke to somebody once that says, if you want to be mentored, the mentor cannot keep on asking you, Sia, when are you going to come for a coffee? Sia, when are we going to speak about this? Sia, how's this doing? Somewhere there needs to be a point where Sia decides, I'm going to reach out to the mentor.
Exactly.
And I think in that
Yeah.
transition, just by you actually reaching out to somebody, is already that mentor seeing, Sia actually wants to do this. He wants me to be his mentor in an aspect like that. And I think something that I learned, especially from, understanding from a mentor, we always expect answers and we always expect that person to solve the problem. But I don't think that is why the mentor is there. It needs to be like that person is a soundboard.
Exactly,
It's somebody
yeah.
that can give advice, but it's not the person that's going to solve your problems for you. But it's definitely somebody that you can go and speak to.
Yeah, and it's not a quick fix.
It's
I
not a
think
quick
that's the
fix.
thing. I
Yeah.
mean, if you should get a different mindset if that's the idea of a mentor.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you should go into any, let's call it relationship for that matter, just for you to gain.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then it's never going to work.
Yeah. And I mean, we as leaders, we need to equip ourselves continuously. And I mean, now we're speaking about Global Leadership Summit. And I think that's something that a lot of people in the world knows about. And it's such a great day, actually. So how did you get to a point where you actually started hosting Global Leadership Summit here in George? And what is the importance for you attending something like that?
So I visited the GLS in Klerksdorp many years ago, and it was an experience that definitely I won't say it changed my life, but there was definitely some wind blown into my sails, especially regarding leadership. And when we moved here 4 years ago, it was quite interesting that there wasn't something like this over here. There was one in Neisner, and I think that's about it in terms of the Garden Route area.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just to almost start something to get other people to experience what I experienced. And I'm not the best public speaker. I'm not the guy that's on stages every week, but I know how to get that content here.
Yeah.
I can do that. That's my almost that what's it, your 2 fishes and 5
Yeah.
bread loaves. What do you have?
Exactly.
This is what I can give.
Yeah.
And I think we started our first one 4 years ago, was in a boardroom. I think we were maybe 16 people.
Oh.
And it's crazy that last year we were about 150 people.
Wow.
And this year we would like to see more people coming.
Yeah.
So it's just
That's
amazing,
amazing.
to see how people want to get or they want to get into a position where they can lead better.
Yeah.
And I think that's the idea with the Global Leadership
Yeah.
Summit.
That's amazing. And I think, we touched on that and we did speak about it quite a lot now as well. It's just being able to give again. That's the thing. Like, leadership is not just about me. It's about what can I do for the people around me, right? And like what you're saying, I get to do that.
Exactly.
And it's and it's such an honor, right? And we need to get to a point where leadership is not a burden, right? I think so many people make leadership a burden, and I need to do this, or I need to lead the people. But I think it's such a blessing.
It's definitely, and I mean, my mindset is leadership shouldn't be endured; it should be enjoyed.
Yes.
And I think that's where I want to. I think out of enjoyment, you should get people to buy into that.
Yes.
Because it isn't a burden. It's such a privilege that you have to lead other people, to help other people, to invest in them with what you have. And I almost see it like kind of a, I don't know what do you call a ketty in English?
Yeah. And let's call it a kitty.
It's like I don't know if it's a slingshot or something like that, but I mean, you get stretched, and then there's rapid growth in that. And I think that's leadership. I mean, when you go to a new level, you get stretched, and then there's rapid growth. And the big question is, what are you aiming at?
Exactly.
I mean, when there's that rapid growth, when there's that rapid firing in that, are you aiming at something, or is it just a shot in the air? And I think with leadership, it's so important to know what you're aiming at, and then to be okay with the stretching and the releasing, because there is going to be that catapult effect.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know our timing's over, but I just want to touch on one last thing you said. You said your wife always says that you're a creature of habit, right? So what is the importance of creating habits as a leader? And he said one specific habit that has changed your life.
I think I've never read books, but that is definitely something that I've taken up in the last, let's call it 10 years or so, is to, what's it saying? Leaders are readers. I mean, so that's definitely something. And I'm still not the best reader for that matter, but I mean, there's so many audiobook apps that you get these days that you can get that content. But it's amazing to have somebody like a John Maxwell or let's call it Nelson Mandela in his book, to have them in your pocket and giving you knowledge, giving you wisdom in that, and to really learn from them. So I would say that's a great practical habit to have. And then I would almost like to end off and just give people almost like a let's call it a track. Let's call it a runway, for that matter, for raising new leaders in the environment where they're at, and just to engage with them, to see who's the people that want to grow, because you get people that you think they've got the potential, but they don't necessarily want to grow. So who's the people that they want to grow? So you have to engage with them. Then you have to equip them. You have to empower them. And then you have to release. I think for so many people, that's the difficult part, is to release. Because you've built something, you've trained people, and then the moment that you need to release, then it's like, this is my project. I'm not sure if I can do this. But the moment that you start releasing, I think you're going to see an amazing thing happening in your work, in your family, and it boils down to how did you do the other three?
Yes. Definitely. Sia, thank you so much for being here today. It was really a privilege to speak to you. Guys, small business owners, we believe that you can be leaders in your field. We want to encourage you, make a difference where you go. Stay tuned for more podcasts on the Bizzin app, and please go and like and follow our social media platforms. This is for today. Thanks, Sia.
Thanks, Leslie.